Between his gameplay and high-level leadership, Maximum is setting a new standard for what it means to be a raid leader. In this video, I'm reacting to Team Liquid's new video showcasing why Maximum might just be the best raid leader World of Warcraft has ever seen. This is the man himself, Maximum, and we're gonna check out this video on him because this looks super intriguing. I don't want to check it out. Let's dive on it. First of all, the quality right off the bat looks sick, dude. That's amazing, dude. Oh, they made him like an orchestra maestro, whatever they call it. Oh, that's so great because he's calling the shots, leading the team. That right at the bat, classic. Oh my God! Yes, God! It's so good.
Let's go! Come on.
So good, man.
Come on. Come on, Kareem. Come on.
Conductor, that's what it is. Yeah.
One. What? Right now? Yeah. Let's kill this fucking boss. Come on.
Bro, the nerd screams. I live for the nerd screams, dude. Oh, I was thinking live for the nerd screams. I love them. And I love this type of content because I personally love doing that type of raid leading, shot calling. I just love helping lead a team to victory and accomplishing whatever that goal might be, whether it's in life or gaming. And so I think this is just super duper epic. And I want to check out the rest of this video. Unfortunately, it looks like my screens have gone black. I'm not really sure what's happening right now. Thanks for ruining my YouTube video. Let's go! Come on, I believe. I think we're coming back. Let's go. So, hey friends, anytime I try to cut down on the things I need to edit, something goes wrong, making me have moments ready to edit. Let's dive back in.
So I think I got my gaming start a lot differently.
Bro, his eyes are insanely blue. I know that might be weird, but it just, I feel like they're jumping out of the screen to me.
At least a lot of my peers. I started playing, I think I played like Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time as one of my first games, absolute classic. You know, I'd go over to my friend's house, play, you know, whatever they had, Mario Kart, stuff like that. Super like early Nintendo 64 basically was like that era.
Love it.
But as soon as WoW got a hold of me, it was like my main thing.
Those words right there have never been more true. You didn't play WoW. WoW plays you. You notice how he said it? He didn't say when I got a hold of WoW. He said when WoW got a hold of me. It's so true. Let me know in the comments below if you can relate. Once you start playing WoW, for a lot of people, you can't go back.
World of Warcraft grasped me, but I feel like it grasped so many people because its sense of progression, not even just like a very natural way of like filling bars up and things like that, but just like progressing your character and your achievements you're getting and your gear and what you've actually accomplished and achieved in the game. That is something that, at least for a long time, no other game came close. It actually didn't like fully grasp me until I went really hard on it in college, and then raiding is what I fell in love with.
Yeah, I love raiding.
I got. Oh my God! No! Back up! No! That didn't happen! No!
What other game can you like work closely with 20 people that you like strangely somehow get along with? What
That's
group
so
project
true.
at work or school or anything where you're working with that many people, is it like a seamless process where people generally get along? Like, it's really complicated, right?
Yeah,
But like
it's true,
being able
actually.
to overcome something genuinely that challenging with people that you like and enjoy and that many of them, you can't replicate it anywhere else.
I love it, dude.
The Race World first really bursted into popularity. You know, since it's come out, it has not stopped growing. A big part of that is because people have always wanted to see the top guilds play. It would have probably never happened if Method felt like they didn't have competition, and that's what happened kind of near the end of Legion, is their competition kind of died out. So they're like, okay,
Yeah, true.
we can stream the Race World first. They didn't know we existed because we didn't know we existed. I think 5 days before the first race in Old Year, where we were just like, we usually raid all day the first day. Let's just do this whole week. And then we're on the weekend, right? So might as well do it over the weekend. Let's take 5 days and go as hard as we can. And we ended up like almost winning that race with no experience.
Wow.
But Method probably would not have streamed if they knew that we were close to them, right? In fact, I think in an alternate timeline, if we would have randomly won that first race, I wonder what that would have done.
That would have been crazy, imagine.
I wonder if maybe they stopped
Imagine accidentally winning the race of the world first.
streaming and we don't start streaming because, again, winning is just so much more important. Back then, it was one team with any kind of money or sponsorship, and everyone else was just a group of friends playing the game for fun, and that was it. No one would have ever made it to this point by being motivated by money. You could have only made it to this point by genuinely loving what you're doing. We were just, again, like a group of friends playing together and like competing, and like we just did that for fun. And we were like, okay, let's try this. But over time, I mean,
And that's why I love MMOs and I love guilds that operate and are led well, because it really does just become a group of people who just really enjoy being around each other, who just enjoy friendship, have a common interest and love for their game, but are also not just enjoying being around each other, but are enjoying working hard within their individual classes and abilities to combine their efforts to achieve the same goal that everyone wants to accomplish. And when you get a large group of people like that, and you manage to, create a good culture with good values where not everyone's going to agree on everything, but you get people to just keep the main thing. We want to have good community, get these bosses down. There's a beauty and a beautiful like magic that happens when these humans get together in this game, can't even see each other, and start killing these high level bosses. It's just such a special moment and achievement. I find it fascinating.
I mean, it's become so professional. I mean, when we started, we had exactly 26 raiders, I think, in a 20-man raid. Now we have close to 40 people,
Oh, wow.
32 raiders, and 8 people outside the raid that are like entirely dedicated to just improving the performance of people inside the raid. It's become an entire like coaching staff and everything. But on the road there, we spent the first couple of raids honestly just playing catch up. We felt like we had a really good team, but in hindsight, I don't really think we had a legitimate chance of winning for a while, like 2 or 3 times into it, until we had that base level experience of really how this worked.
Yeah.
And that's not even strategy. That's that's eating and sleeping. You're unable to even put
A lot of it's synergy too. Teams need to build synergy. And that's one of the reasons why obviously we're watching this video post the Race to World first. So unfortunately, Liquid already has not won. They were in first place for a little bit. Echo ended up coming back and winning. And I'll just make a statement. I really believe that one of the reasons Echo is as good as it is because I believe, I could be wrong in these numbers, so feel free to let me know in the comments below if my numbers are off, but it's something like 18 out of the 20 raiders that was method, they had a fallout. 18 or something like that out of those 20 people left and formed or joined Echo, and Echo went and won, I believe, the last tier and definitely this tier. One of the reasons I think they have the competitive edge is when you have that many people leave a team that's been playing together for years, those people already have so much synergy. And so that's a huge competitive advantage. Liquid has to build that synergy. Method has to rebuild that synergy because they need to rebuild their entire team. While Echo, even though in some cases it's like a newer team or whatever, it's a newer team but an old team because it's pretty much just a Method with a new name. And so that synergy is just hard to beat. People playing together, knowing how each other operate, playing off each other's, actions and reactions. It's a huge advantage, and that's what he's describing right here.
Put yourself in the position to get better unless you're actually in the lead. And it took us just a long time of doing that, really, to get better. And then obviously now it's just progressed to a point where in these races, it's weird. It's not like you play every week. You play every 6 months, right? If like the 6 month later team were to go up against both us and Echo's formerly Methods team
That's so sick,
from
those
6
strats.
months prior, I mean, you would destroy them. That's how much it's advancing in that amount of time from one raid to the next. So it's been a lot of progress.
And it's so cool to see him behind the scenes like this. Like, he's not just playing a video game. Like, you can see, like, he's leading his team. Like, this is really cool. I've never seen them in this capacity. This is really, I mean, I know they're obviously doing it, but, like, it's cool to see it.
Well, the first time we won, I would say was a lot. It was, we had been fighting from this with so much opposition. We weren't streaming at first, so people were like anti us just because we were robbing them of content, I guess. It's like the first time we won was like just being able to say like we can do this, and it was a very dominant win.
Tanks are kiting in 3, 2, 1. Let's
And then to follow
I live for the nerd screams, dude.
that up to say it wasn't a fluke or a one-time thing, we just won immediately right after that as well.
Stay alive, ignore seats. Let's go, dude. Wait, chill.
I live for the nerd screams.
Let's go!
Saturday Nathrius. Who cares what the head said, bro?
I still remember I was in Discord with my friends and we were watching race together, and as soon as they won, I just like started bawling. My
Yeah,
eyes out,
heck
and
yeah,
just
dude.
knowing how much effort he like put into it, it just like, I don't know, it made me so happy.
I don't know if being on top is what keeps you up at night as much as it just makes you have to work that much harder. And truly at a human level, it's hard to fight complacency when you win multiple times. You can preach it every day in a meeting. Let's not be complacent. Let's not be complacent. But there's nothing that drives that level of like preparedness and passion and competitiveness than the sting of losing. You can never replicate how bad that feels without it actually happening to you.
So true, man.
I used to
Sheesh,
think that
these people are
we
insane. I love it.
dealt with losing pretty well because like our guild doesn't like lose its morale. We're very productive. We're trying to get better. But I don't know if losing ever affected us like it did after this last race.
All right, chat. I have some news. So we are going to play until dinner tonight. Take some time off, spend some time together, maybe watch a movie, rent out a bowling alley. And then we are flying home tomorrow, and we are going to come back strong on Monday and finish the race.
If you guys are unfamiliar with what happened in the last race, there's a lot of controversy and opinions about what happened, but a lot of people believe that that raid was really overtuned in the Sepulchre of the first ones. I believe that was a tier, and it took, I think it was 19 straight days, I think, for the first guild to get it down, which is just insane. That's a long time of 16-hour days. It just starts killing morale of any team. And so eventually they realized, like, we're not going to win this race. We're so far behind. And it actually is just better for our team to just give up. It's better for our team to just give up rather than, drive them into the ground for a race that we're not going to win anyway. They were in second place, I believe. Echo took the win, and then they just gave up. And honestly, I think it was the right call for them because it was crazy, man. It was crazy how long this took. And I know that it was a big moment of controversy, but I honestly think it was the right call for their team. And plus, you know how expensive it is to run these events with that many people on site, these venues and everything? It's crazy, man. But it must have been a tough call, though.
Unfortunately, they had to, put their guildies' mental health first before, the win. So when they had to leave Boston and come back to LA, that was obviously heartbreaking.
That was in Boston? Bro, I'm from Boston.
First of all, it was really hard to learn from because we just, we don't know how much we did wrong near the end of the race naturally, like where our preparedness was wrong or where, we were functionally doing things like because our philosophy is bad or something versus how much of it was our brains were just absolute mush after doing this for 3 weeks, deprived of sleep. And we were probably making bad decisions and becoming easily more frustrated because of all of those factors, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How much should you change? What if you change everything you did wrong, but a lot of the stuff wouldn't have gone wrong if you weren't in that state? The guild now is very prepared. It's a different tone. It's much more serious. You can see it in testing. All of you guys will see it during the race. I would say we are taking this much more seriously than we ever have before.
That's awesome. Bro, I
So what I
love
think
these races,
makes Max a great raid leader is his ability to communicate, for one. He's very good at talking to people and knowing what they need to hear.
Being a good raid leader is pretty challenging. There's obviously a lot of things inside the game that are super important. You have to understand every class at as high of a level as you can to make the proper decisions of when you should be bringing them. But I think a lot of it comes down to your interaction with people. Yeah, actually, I'll point to a specific experience, actually. It was a job I had in my 20s, one of the many I had, where I worked at a restaurant. I actually managed my brother's restaurant. When you have to, manage not only the high school kid who's doing this, maybe doesn't want to, but needs money, versus like the 22-year-old who's doing it as a college job versus like the 38-year-old person who's still living paycheck to paycheck and having to like keep all that in line. It's a lot going on, and honestly, it taught me a lot about people, and I think how to lead the right way.
Leadership, yeah.
He knows how to control his emotions to sort of rally his like raiders, and so that even if they're feeling down, they can look at Max and see that he's like still.
I love it.
Going strong.
I think I gain a lot of perspective
everything
from what I'm doing now.
that's happening
singing.
right now.
I went to college for music, and I spent some of my professional life in my 20s singing professional chamber music. Something you learn in groups like that is everyone has an incredible voice. But to sing really high quality chamber music, a lot of that is stripping that down and making sure you blend in. Most people are like very confident singers. You want to be the person they hear. If you're not in a solo, you want people to hear your voice. But in reality, to make a really good performance, you guys have to all kind of be on the same beat. You have to, you know, be as one, kind of. And I think a lot of that is like raiding. You have really high level players, and they know that they have to make the same sacrifices as everyone else, and most importantly, lead by example. So I think a lot of what I've done in leadership has certainly been the strategy and tactical side. We spend so much time thinking about that and doing that.
Can imagine,
and surrounding myself with people who are really good at it. But I think something that I find and feel is really important is, you know, making sure that the atmosphere is right. You know, there's personal accountability. It is completely not allowed to like mess up and then just immediately try to blame someone else, or even try to justify it or defend it. Even your best players will mess up, and you move on and you go to the next thing. Everyone knows in my guild when I bring it up to them, it's not personal, but it does need to get brought up. Problems need to get solved.
That's right.
You can't just, you know, just let everything slide by so everyone will be happy.
You cannot correct what you will not confront. Things just need to be talked about in a kind, loving manner, but it is not loving to not share truth. And sometimes if you share truth in the wrong way, it can be unloving. What he's describing is finding the proper way to have difficult conversations. I think it's incredible.
We're a guild that's known for having an excellent atmosphere and being really good at problem solving at the same time, and it took years to cultivate that. Yeah, the guild absolutely feels like a family. Everyone is very close.
So cool, man.
If you're not even playing WoW, which a lot of the times outside the race world first, you play other games for, you know, most of the farm period. A lot of these players are playing these games together. A new game comes out, there's 20 people hanging out, all playing the game at the same time. We are very, very close.
I love
funny.
it,
Like,
dude.
when I was a hockey player, I feel like I was a terrible leader. And maybe I had to be a terrible leader at some point.
Everyone is at one point. You got to learn.
Be good at it.
Yeah.
And maybe see it done the wrong way. But like, I wasn't the captain of my team. I was someone who showed up late for practice and kind of didn't give a shit and was just able to, you know, go off of my talent and not really have to try very hard. And honestly, I think I got really lucky. You know, this ended up working out really well for me and for our team. But I think it's a huge right place, right time thing. Like right now in hindsight, I can say all of the classes I skipped and jobs I ended up quitting ended up being worth it because all this ended up happening. But I think it's very possible that we aren't quite this good, or I'm not quite as good or quite as lucky. And then I look at all of that and I'm like, man, you know what? I probably should have focused more on this and less about WoW, you know? Letting people go from this is the single hardest thing I do, but it almost feels bad saying it's hard for me because I know how hard it is for them.
Sure,
I don't have
yeah.
someone, you know, remove people from the guild for me. It has to come from me, I feel like.
I respect
you're not
that,
only
man.
firing someone from their current job, you're also probably taking away the thing that makes them the most happy. This is their hobby and their passion and their job. And a lot of the times, it's not really because they're doing anything wrong. Yeah, having to remove people from the guild is genuinely the worst feeling that I've felt in my life. I've been pretty lucky in my life to not suffer a lot of like close loss or bad things to happen to me. I'm serious. I like have nightmares thinking about waking up and telling someone that I've played.
And this right here is something that I actually want to make actually a whole separate video about. It's actually in my notes, talk about some things that I would love to see. But like, honestly, in my heart, when I watch this kind of stuff, I love seeing these race to world first, these incredibly competitive events. We have to understand that this is for like the top, not even 1% of players. This is for the top, like probably 0.1% of players. I don't have any real stats on that, but like there's such a small percentage of people that do mythic rating at all. But never mind the amount of people that end up doing like the race to world first and actually winning. So the reality is like, this type of stuff is for such a small percentage of players. What I would really love to see is to see this level of community intentionality infrastructure, but built for more of like your average, just people that love WoW. I mean, if you look at the Race to World first, you see that really it's like the top 3 guilds are really just like pretty much like professional organizations that have like, you know, lots of money, lots of backing, full-time staff, analysts, you know, weak aura makers behind the scenes. And then everyone else in the race, like, you know, like they probably already don't stand a chance. Like they can't keep up with the amount of resources. And so really it isn't even really a race to world first amongst the community. It's really a race between which pro team is best. And so to hear him say things like, you know, if people can't be on the raid team, we kick them out of the guild altogether. And for me, and I get that has to be, that's how it has to be within this, but I wish there was a way to be able to have even teams competing at this level, but a part of a greater community that is not just like you're either part of our Race to World first team or you're out. But like, what if we could have a team competing at this level that was a part of a greater community where it's not like, hey, unfortunately we have to bench you from the Race to World first team, but we're not kicking you out of the entire community and family we've created. Unfortunately, it's going to be tough. You're no longer on this raid team, but you could be on, you know, team B or team C, or like you don't have to leave all your friends together. I would love to see that be able to exist without it just being like all or nothing, because like he's saying, it not only sucks to kick them out of their job, but you're kicking them out of it's an all or nothing kind of thing. And that really, really sucks for the players. I get that there isn't a different way for them to do it, but I really believe that there could be a way to do that if the structure was different.
For years, and I've met in real life, and I know like people close to them. I've played thousands of hours of games with these people, and I have to be the one to tell them that this isn't going to be a thing anymore.
Sheesh,
and
sucks,
this isn't
man.
like a lot of other sports where they can just go join the next best team. A lot of the times that there isn't another team to go and do this for your job. This is like it's the best place to do it, and it's like kind of the only place to do it, especially in region. I probably don't deal with it very well. It's not easy for me to just go on a walk or go for a workout or hang out with my dogs and forget something like that. It's like a major life impacting thing for another person. It's impossible. And yes, you can approach it like a business. You can say, yes, you know what? This is with no emotion involved, this is the exact right thing to do.
And it is a business. That's why for them, my idea doesn't work for them. They're not interested in building my idea, right? They're not interested in building a large size community. They're a professional esports team. They're there to win. That's what they're doing. And for them, it is a business. And so when people got to get cut, they got to get cut. You know, that's a hard decision. That's a tough place for him to be in. I respect him being willing to make the choices, man. Leaders got to make tough choices, but it's hard, man. It's hard.
To make our team better, which is the only goal. But on a human level, it's so personal and extremely hard to do. I think maybe the way that I deal with it is as bad as I ever feel having to do it. You know, I'm not doing anything wrong, but I have to do it. Yeah. I know it feels much worse for them. So I would probably not ever want to put myself, like as much as it sucks for me, and genuinely I hate it more than anything, obviously they're going through something so much worse. It's pretty brutal.
Sucks, man. It's gotta be
Since
done,
we've
though.
started doing the race, it has been nothing but growth. Every single raid, the viewership numbers beat the previous one, and that's including with the player base going down over the course of an expansion usually. But it's grown into something more than WoW. So many people come up to me in real life that watch the race that don't even play WoW. It's like something unique about this that is so watchable, especially watching the players' POVs where, you know, you're hearing a group of people that genuinely like each other, solve very hard problems, and play at the highest level, and being able to like witness that and hear that and like hear the ins and outs of it. There's really nothing like it. There's nothing like it in esports in general. And then the fact that it's community run and it's like kind of for the players, by the players, is definitely something that attracts a lot of people. My ambitions for the future, I have like kind of like 2 lives right now. I'm like the top retail WoW content creator. So that's a big ambition of mine. But the thing is that will always fall behind the competitive side of it. In fact, months like these are really, really difficult because it's when I want to be creating the best and most content, but it always falls to the wayside.
Of course, yeah.
As it should for any kind of competitive obligations. It's so weird. The Race to World First for me is by far the thing I like doing the most. If you were to take streaming away from it, if you were going to take the money and the exposure and the viewership and everything, it was just back to how it used to be, where it's off stream with your friends until it's over. That is what I like doing more than anything else in my life. That is how it is for me currently. I can't really see that changing. If that were to change, I would be the first person to step down. I actually feel pretty strongly about that. If I ever felt like I don't have the same passion for doing this, I'm never going to continue with the team and be that leader or person who's sticking around for the viewership. I would instantly try to always do the best thing for us to compete. But for now, WoW is everything. And we are all the way down with this. I really doubt I could ever see myself stopping.
Respect, bro. Being willing to put the team before yourself. Absolutely love it, friends. That was a video by Liquid, who used to be Team Limit, from Maxima. If you enjoy watching this kind of React content, be sure to subscribe to this channel on YouTube, but also join our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ShowsYouLive, and join our community. Join the Discord if you're looking for an MMO place to be and hang out with people like us. I have a huge amount of respect for Team Liquid, and hearing this type of content, seeing his behind the scenes, and just kind of hearing his heart. Now, I've never really seen a behind the scenes video like that from him, but even just the way he carries himself during the Race to World First, the way he composes himself, the way he speaks to his team when they screw up, I've always had a huge amount of respect for Maximum, and now even more getting to see some behind the scenes. I love it, I love it, love it. Friends, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one.